Our lesson today is all about supporting materials. And I want you to think of your skeleton because it is our skeleton, after all, that supports our body. Have a look at this image, right? This is the inside of a cervical spine that supports our head. Now, if we zoom in a little bit, you might notice something different about this particular skeleton. Most people don't have those things that are highlighted there, but I do. There was a car accident and a cervical spine surgery that we can discuss at a different time. But what I need to support my system is different than maybe what you need and different than what probably most people. But similarly, I want you to think about that when you're crafting your speech content and your supporting materials, because they're going to be very unique to you, to your message, and to your audience, right? So custom approach what materials are going to work. Quick review, because I know you know this from previous lessons. Supporting materials are the different types of information that we use to develop and support our main points. We need to select the best ones for our speech. If you're anything like me, you're going to have so much to say, tons to share, but you've got to pick what is really going to be a best fit for my audience. They're also going to show that you've done your research and help you build your credibility and show that you know your topic. And of course, we want to make sure that we're always using clear, relatable, and understandable language. All right, why? You know, the three main reasons from our text is they're going to help strengthen audience memory. Things are going to stick better when we have supporting materials. Also, they're going to help us win audience agreement, especially if you're trying to persuade or change someone's mind about something. And thirdly, supporting materials can evoke audience emotions. So again, you should have already reviewed your content from the text and the past department lectures, but I wanted to share a different take on some supporting materials, bring you some examples that are closer to home. In 2019, I attended the Rutgers TEDx conference, which is a yearly conference held at the university. And that theme that year was Pale Blue Dot, kind of about how we're like a very small part of a very large universe. And I attended with one of my colleagues. We had a really great time. And if you don't know about Rutgers TEDx, I want to suggest that you get connected. This is the website, and you can connect with them on all their social media channels. But this is how you can find out more, get involved, participate, or listen to speakers. When I went, I had my camera with me as usual, and I had a little sniper moment with one of my current students, Sean, but of course, totally have permission to photograph him and share this with you. So it's really cool to be able to see so many students come together. One of the first speeches that was shared is Brooke, right? And her speech was about unboxing, unlabeling, and just living. So her supporting materials, actually she did a very interesting thing. She had this board that you see here on screen out front, and people didn't know that it was attached to a speech, but she prompted people to take a sticky and answer the question, how do others label you? So people posted it on the board, and she used that as a supporting material for her content. So she planned for it, prepared for it, and then built it into her speech. It also helps the audience feel super connected because you knew that that information was gathered right before she spoke. Another student that spoke, Alex, his topic was what cancer taught me about happiness, right? So you know that was evoking a lot of emotions from what he'd been through, and he shared statistics in an engaging way and cited them verbally and on his slides. In this case, 33% of Americans feel that they're happy with their lives is, an interesting point to make. He also shared some other data and used metrics, but he used relatable language in saying my posse. And then Dr. Quincy, his topic was about social justice and slavery, and it was called Go Tell It on the Mountain. He told several stories. One was a personal family story of his grandmother, and it had to do with her experience with slavery and even his experience as one of the younger generations. And in his storytelling, which was the stories were his supporting materials, he used a visual aid. He used this prop, which was an accordion that had been in his family for generations that connected to the story. So he's using a visual aid as support to his supporting material. Sometimes it can get tricky. What's a supporting material? What's a visual aid? And here we have Jana Bromberg, who's a professor of informatics, and she was talking about the microbiome, which, she called it the big U, and it can be a very complex scientific topic to share in a large audience. But the way she brought it home is by using supporting materials that helped you think of the microbiome as a community. In fact, she said something like the amount of bacteria in 1 teaspoon of soil equals approximately the number of people that live in Africa. So the number of people on an entire continent in 1 teaspoon of soil. And then the MC here, Nadia Drake, she actually did spoken word. So her supporting material was delivered in the form of a spoken poem, which was also very cool. For your upcoming speech, what supporting materials did you choose? Right? What are going to be the best ones to supplement your story? And you know we have a ton of options: examples, definitions, demonstrations, testimony that's expert or lay. You can use statistics, data, graphics, images, quotes, stories, narratives, and even some literary devices. We often forget things like anaphora, personification, analogy that really help people understand our concepts. So let's end today with a few analogy examples. So see if you can fill this one in. Coffee is to conversation as blank is to blank. All right, see if you can come up with one on your own of that. I'll leave that for you. Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, right? So if you haven't seen this movie, I'm going to recommend it to you. It's an oldie but a goodie. And then here, an unknown one. My mind is like my web browser. 19 tabs are open, 3 are frozen, and I have no idea where the music is coming from. It totally happens to me all the time. Finding a good man or woman is like finding a needle in a haystack, right? Using these kinds of language that will help us understand the concepts. That last episode was like riding a roller coaster. And lastly, a bald spot is like a lie. The bigger it gets, the harder it is to cover it up. Also unknown. So make sure that you're incorporating this kind of language as well to help support your materials, to make it more engaging, more conversational, and help us to engage with your content. So again, I'm here to help you. If you need to come up with some creative ways to support your content, let me know. But in the meantime, I hope you're having an enjoyable time writing and preparing for your speech.